views or different scriptural meanings together and created this saying. It wasn't a verbatim scripture.
Yeah, but let's go back that, because what you say is true. It's like a cookie cutter. Okay, we're gonna take this part of the scripture, and then we're gonna take this slang word over here, and we're gonna put it together.
But some of it wasn't even like a whole part. It was just like they took a word,
yeah,
and then put a transitional phrase in there, and took another word from
and then called it Matthew whatever.
Oh,
okay.
I don't remember if they gave the scripture.
I'm being funny, Vicky. Okay, they put the scripture.
All I'm saying is that I was following that instead of, and I'm not even saying they didn't teach me correctly, because a lot of times they tell you to go and study.
We are not talking about church folks.
They direct you to the scripture in Timothy where it says, "Study to show thyself approved unto God.
Yeah,
need not be ashamed to rightly divide the word of truth."
Okay,
right.
Go tell
so my point is that I'm just trying to say that I'm not trying to talk about no preacher saying that they misled me. I'm telling you how I did not do my own part.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, you got to do your own part. Okay. Don't believe everything you hear. Yep. Even what you hear me saying. Go do your own research. So,
but I want you to believe me, though. Believe me, God dog it. Not for real. Okay.
So, bringing it home. We want to talk about the criminal justice system. Well, first of all, the first point I want to talk about with the criminal justice system is that there's a misunderstanding out there.
Yeah, misunderstanding
about the
amount of
the statistics.
Okay, there we go.
Of who's in prison and who's not, or who's the population that's the majority in prison and things like that. So there's been a lot of people walking around. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some people that actually understand the clear truth of what it is.
The truth will set you free.
But the way it's been explained, and even to the point where I've had a conversation with a few people, there's a misunderstanding that the majority of the prison system is black. Is the majority of the prison system, or the space in prison or jail, is the African Americans or black race, and
not people of color, black,
not people of color.
Yes,
black people.
Yeah, we gotta make that emphasis there.
Okay. African Americans, but some of them, they have to be Americans to be in there because they'll ship them back somewhere else, right?
Oh, no, that's about that. Oh, yeah, we don't want to talk about that. That's a different subject. We don't talk about deportation, no.
But, we going to be on the safe side, we're going to say black, and we have an article to back it up, so we're going to say that, because you know how people be getting all, we students, we overthink everything. So
I know.
So anyway.
Let's get to the article now.
Anyways. We found an article to back this up. What it is.
And you can believe what we say.
I'm going to explain it. And maybe DJ Dika might want to read something. I don't know. But I'm going to explain it. It's
past my bedtime. I can't read. For real. Go ahead.
So we found this article. And it's called "The Gap Between the Number of Blacks and Whites in Prison is Shrinking." That's what it's called.
And the author is?
And the author is John Gramlich.
And this is from Fact Tank. April 30th, 2019. Okay, you can believe what we hear right now. Here we go. Want me to read it?
No,
okay.
We don't. We're not going to read all this.
Okay, you're going to do the little numbers?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention racial and ethnic gaps shrink in U.S. prison population is what they wanted to focus on. But the part I wanted to explain is basically...
It ain't all black folks in prison. There we go. Cut to the chase.
Okay, where's that part at? Because I guess we're going to have to read it because you making it so...
It's not all black folks.
So on this chart, it says the whites, that the whole population of the United States...
Yeah, you got to go slow with that.
Whites / Caucasian folk make up 64%.
64
of the
U.S.
population.
Okay, I got that part. I don't know nothing about that. I got that.
16% of Hispanic make up the U.S. population.
Wow.
19%. I mean, I said 19. I said that wrong. 12%.
You said it right. Raw people
of the blacks
the
make up the U.S. population. Now, out of those numbers, the highest number that's in the prison system is blacks. Out of 12%. So they're saying 33%, which is the highest number, out of 12% blacks is in the prison system. Not 33% of 100% is in 100% of the population or the jail system.
So it's 33% out of that 12.
So 33% of blacks out of 12% in the whole population of the United States is in prison. The white population is 30% of them, which of 30% of the 64% that I just said, 30% of that 64% is in prison. Then you go to the Hispanic, 23% of that 16% of the U.S. population is in prison. So I just want you to know.
Where's the part where it says
I
that
just
we
want
got
you to know.
It's squeaky. It says squeaky.
I know, but let me finish explaining.
Oh, okay.
So I just want everyone to understand that the highest that the jails is not overpopulated with blacks. Like blacks is not dominating the prison system.
Like they want us to believe.
Actually.
Okay, so actually
the whites are the ones that overpopulate the prison system.
Silky.
And then I don't even know if the numbers are correct because I thought it was a Hispanic. Because you know why?
Why?
And I'm just going to tell you guys, look it up, do your own research, and make sure you get a clear understanding as well. But my background is criminal justice, and I went to school and got a degree in it. And
so we don't really
no. I'm just giving them that background because I'm just going to say that when I was in class and we had to take certain classes, one of the classes had taught us that a lot of the Hispanic, like when they deport Hispanic gang members, they in so many words procreate more gangbangers over in their country, and then they end up coming back over to the U.S.
But what is procreate?
So they go and recruit other their own people to come and join the gang that they had created.
They having babies, okay.
And then they also create gangs over there in their country,
and then
come back over because they're trying to come to the U.S. because it's better opportunities, right?
Yes.
So in that transition of going back and forth or whatever, they end up in the prison system.
Okay.
So a lot of them are in the prison system, and some of them may get deported and some of them may not. Okay. So it's a lot of Hispanic in the prison system. Like they showed us a whole map of the whole United States, and it showed us darkened the areas where it was populated with gangs. And I'm telling you, every state in U.S. have gangs, and some have more than others. Okay. So I'm just saying that I don't even know if their numbers are correct, but we know that the white population has always dominated, but I think over the years it's starting to they're becoming the minority, and I think the Hispanic are becoming the majority for real because we ain't nowhere near that. We're not.
Okay.
But and then another thing that makes the white population seems more as well, they have other nationalities, other races that claim white.
Yes.
So they have certain Hispanic folk, depending on where they're from. Like if they're from Spain, they claim to be white. They have different ones. Even some Asian people claim it. So I don't know if they do it because of the benefit they're going to get or whatever the case may be. And then some people that's what they believe they are. So I can't determine why folk do that, but I'm just saying it does happen.
Okay, and then we're going to read this last little quote to prove that, like the article was saying, that the gap is shrinking. So, based on all three groups, Hispanics, Blacks, African Americans, and Caucasians and white, for all three of these groups, imprisonment rates have declined substantially since 2007. We couldn't find any updated, but we're going to go in here. Since 2007, the rate has declined 31% among blacks, 14% among whites, and 25% among Hispanics. Experts have offered a range of explanations for the pronounced drop in the black imprisonment rate. Alrighty then. Okay, now we gave you a little information about the gap between the number of blacks and whites in prison that is shrinking. So it's shrinking among black folks. That's very good.
Now we wanted to go into talking about
back to life, back
racial profiling. But we want to use Straight Outta Compton as an example, and also I actually went a little bit out of order because I meant to mention the recidivism rate.
See, don't be confusing me. It messes me up.
I just want to mention it shortly.
I have to have structure
because we can talk about that on the next show. But okay, I just want recidivism.
Yeah, I don't ever know to say that word.
Recidivism is a offender who is a repeat offender. And they constantly go in and out of prison or jail. I remember I met someone in my past, and they told me, it was a man. He told me that he goes to prison every 2 years without fail. He gets out of prison, lives a law-abiding life, like he follows the law and everything. But when it gets closer to 2 years, I don't know if he get an itch or something, and then he does something, and then he ends up getting caught and he goes back to prison. So
do you think that, I mean, I already know the answer, but I just want you to clarify. So it's because they're used to being institutionalized, and then when they get out, they're not able to relate to the world. I don't know if that's right. Culture, because they used to being in there, so they feel more comfortable in prison.
Yeah, something like that. That's but I don't know sad. I don't know if that's his case.
Okay.
He just felt like it was a bad luck thing. And he said he had been, I think when I met him, he probably was close to 40. And he said he had been going through that since he was like a minor, 16, something like that. I would look at that as somebody being institutionalized because he was really, he was really functioning in society and making really good money. But every 2 years, he would go and get himself in trouble and go to prison. But I know also there's a population of people that go in and out of prison or jail because of drug use. They have some people that go because because they just like the life of crime.
Yeah, so I guess it's two different kind of folks.
It's a lot of different. It's not just two.
Okay. Okay, well, we got folks that went to jail and then they come out really trying to do right and they get in trouble again. But then we got another population, like I said, from my reading and learning and talking to you, that they tried their hardest to come out and be among society and they just can't hang.
And then they have some people that want to be in prison or jail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because all their needs are met. You know, they come out and they find that their needs are not. Well, you know, they're survivors in there because they in there with their people. They in there with their culture.
I understand you trying to explain to me, but I can't do it.
Yeah, of course you can, because you're not that type of person. You can't put a dog with a cat. You know what I'm saying? A dog that's rough and a cat that's, you know.
I need my freedom. I can't deal with nobody telling me when to go to bed.
You can't put a bird with a fish, because the bird gonna eat the fish. I can't deal with nobody
telling me when to go to bed, when to eat.
Right. So I'm just saying that, you know.
And if I got to get up at 5 in the morning, I want to get up because I want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
When I used to work with women on parole and drug treatment.
Yes.
And I spoke, you know, we used to have groups. We would have processing group or whatever, and they would share. And I remember this one girl, she said that, you know, she had a girlfriend, which they call them their wife, in prison. And so when it came time for her to get out, her girlfriend was trying to get her in trouble so that she can
stay,
violate, and then end up getting more time to stay in there with her, you know. And then you have those that get out and they can't make it out in the streets, so they just kind of like don't even care, and they like, well, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do until I get caught and go back, because at least I know my needs will be met. You know, they get their medical taken care of, they dental, they always have a hot meal, they have hot meals, they have a place to sleep, even a warm place to sleep.